how's everything?
Everything's good, man.
Don't
With
do
you?
the head thing again.
I need to get comfortable in this space.
You have to. You have to. Yeah, everything's good. What else?
But now that you told me, I'm actually gonna
Yeah, we should just,
be free.
Mm-hmm.
That's my home.
Mm-hmm. Do that, Yeah.
And yourself? How's everything going?
Nah, all good. It was a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday I went out, to run and stuff like that. So
How did that go?
it was good. Like cardio, did some cardio work. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm standing. Even though my car's hurt.
I can imagine that. I can imagine.
But,
How long did you spend there?
1 hour. We were there for
That's
like
a lot.
1 hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, we pushed.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we did the track and then
Yeah.
we did stairs up, down, up, down, up, down.
Oof.
Yeah, it was heavy.
I don't see myself doing that anytime
And
soon.
you were like, you can beat me. Like,
In
alright.
sprint, yeah.
I was like, cool. Should make a day and then we'll do it.
I know I can.
Right.
At least there's something that I should be able to beat you in.
Alright, so we'll make a day for it and then we'll see. But yeah, like everything's good. School is just rebalancing quite well. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was working on a lot of assignments yesterday.
How many?
3.
Yeah.
And this whole electricity thing
Oh jeez.
was a bummer.
Yeah.
Because so many things are connected to it.
Yeah.
Like your network.
Yeah.
When electricity goes and you
Yeah.
can use that.
Especially when you have like Wi-Fi and stuff.
Exactly.
Mm.
When you're
Yes,
using
yes.
cells. I don't know why I'm still using it, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's been a bummer. It's been a lot. It's taking out also a meme, a
Yeah.
UJ meme where they're like, if I fail,
Blame
you know
it.
who
Yeah.
to blame. Blame it on
I even
Escom.
saw that as well. Like they're like, if I fail, my mom should blame Escom for
Yeah.
my failure because they fucking up.
Yeah.
So, that's what's up. Now that we're on that tip, like it's just like now look at what's happening in the politic spectrum. Like what these politicians are doing as well. Like all of this is just linked.
To it.
Yeah. When you look at it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess they're like capitalizing
Mhm.
on the situation, like
Mhm.
other parties, apart from the ruling party,
Mhm.
in order to get votes. Because who wants to talk about electricity?
Of course, and also just I was looking at Ramaphosa was riding the train publicly. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, with people. He was in there with you know how it is like whenever elections come, they
Yeah.
close. Like it's always like this thing of like now they want to interact with the people, make fake promises, development, all of that, and people believe that. Yeah, so he was there with the people and stuff, and I just looked at it and I was like, this is all PR. He's just putting up a front on how to just gain votes so that people vote for him going forward.
Of course, it's PR. I mean,
Yeah.
ANC is like in a bad situation right now.
Yeah.
I legit feel like their time of end is coming soon. So
You think so?
yeah, I actually do. I
Mhm.
actually do. So I guess they're gonna make use of every stunt possible to actually keep us with them. But there's a break here.
Are you gonna vote?
I don't think I'm gonna vote.
Why not?
I've never voted.
Yeah.
I
Why
guess it's
not?
never been a culture in like my fam or something like that.
That y'all
It
don't
actually
vote.
goes with religious views. On my dad's side, apparently they don't vote, so it's never been something I've actually thought about.
And why is that? Why do they don't? Like, why don't they vote?
They just believe that we're giving power to men or leaders or something like that. I really don't understand everything behind that. But I mean, when you're living in like a sticky situation that we are, I guess you need to make your voice heard and actually choose the kind of change that you would want.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were to vote, I don't even think there's anyone who's deserving
Of your vote.
of my vote.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, I don't vote either, and I've never, because it's always been this thing of, what's the point, really? Because there is a point to vote, but for me, it's always been like, you vote for change, that's what I believe voting is, right? You vote for change, and if you don't see change happening, then where did your vote go? You know. But at the same time, now you have to understand that people do it because somehow they're desperate, and also these guys, they're also like so good at um, putting up a front in order to actually gain the people's votes, because they look at the weak points and then they're like, oh, okay, this is where you're weak at, and I'm gonna make false promises, and then I'm gonna get something of you, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's actually so sad that money is like a sole driving power to these political parties. And I mean, if that doesn't change, I mean, will we ever have good governance? Is there actually such a term as good governance? Does it exist?
Yeah, I feel like it does, because, like, look at people back then, you know, and look at people now. You know, back then, change was there. You know, you could see change. Even now, like, there is change. Pardon?
Back then, as in?
Pardon?
Like which years?
Like 90s, like 90s. You know, there was change just before democracy happened. You know, like the people, how they would vote, and just the voting system, and the changes that were there. Like, you know, development was there, and the country as South Africa, it was civilized, right? And then now, you just look at now, since the aftermath of democracy, there's just a lot of corruption. It's like, yes, you guys want in power, but like, look at how you guys are abusing this power now. You know?
It's like when you never had anything before, and then now they present something to you in a silver platter,
and then your whole life changes now. Yeah, and that's what's up with them, because they just overdoing it, you know. And I get it, you know. It's always, things have always been not perfect. We're not expecting perfection, but don't do it in front of our faces. You know?
Exactly. I once heard a phrase where they're like, you know, even Americans do the same kind of thing.
Of course, everywhere.
But with them, it's like, you know, when we have a 1 million or 1 billion deal, we're taking 100,000, as opposed to,
or maybe 1 billion.
When we have a 1 billion deal, we're taking
99. And that's what these guys are doing. Like, literally, when they just take literally a whole.
And this is why, like, all our government entities and stuff like that, your ESCOM and stuff, is failing.
And like, look how right now they're in debt, right? And what they're trying to do now, they're trying to go back to their feet with this whole thing, but now they're not realizing that they're killing a lot of businesses, because a lot of businesses depend on electricity to operate.
Exactly.
And yes, generators are there, but you know, for how long? You know, look at how it actually slacked us down here at Monash. Like, our lecturers, I don't know with you, but our lecturers even had to postpone due date because.
And they bombarded us with quizzes. I was like, oh Lord.
Because, like, you know, there's no productivity. I was having a conversation with someone that, what's the point of coming here? Because everything is just depending on electricity, and once that is gone, where you gonna go? You understand? So it's
funny, their concept of development. You know, they want the country to grow and stuff like that, but when you don't have basic things like electricity, like Wi-Fi, because I need that Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
How do you grow?
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, it's just look at the structure. Like, the structure is very. It's actually like lacking, you know, because I heard one time. So this guy is a politician. So he's like, he sees all these strategies on how to improve the country going forward, right? But why is it only now that they want to enforce the ruling on corruption that's been happening within ESCOM? Why is it only now?
Because the country's crashing.
Yeah, and where's this thing's been happening? And it's like, now, why don't you cut that first? Because that's gonna be that's gonna allow you to at least improve. Because now, back then it was happening, but people were just pretending as if it's not happening, you know. And they have all these strategies, but most of them, they're not about literally enforcing killing corruption there.
Yeah. What was one of these strategies? I think it was like building two power stations.
Yeah, I mean,
the biggest power stations in the world, but you don't even have the resources or the money to maintain them.
Mm-hmm. And already in debt.
And then this whole group type thing.
Yeah.
Where, you know, maintenance money was going to them and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Of course. So
just like messed up.
Very. It's like that's why somehow I'm very motivated to even leave the country as well. You know, like very soon, just before 10 years hits. You know? Yeah. Because it's like there's no future. You know.
Exactly.
Going forward, it's just
there
like
isn't.
It's gonna be very messy.
I'm just all about whatever my career path takes me to, wherever it takes me to. I'll go there.
But also like
I mean, my parents have been adamant about me going abroad. They even wanted me to go to Monash, Australia. But you have been so reluctant.
Because obviously it's changed. You having to leave everything here in South Africa so that you go start a new life outside. It's something. It's really like something. But for me, like I think I'm ready now to like do that now. Yeah, I think I'm ready. Yeah. But you know, I just have like a few options there and there. But yeah, like you know, like to this corruption thing. It's just it's very, because also like you look at what's this, the political party EFF, right? They have the intel, right? How they want to execute plans and how they want to see the country, you know, going forward. But the problem is with them, how also they say it. You know, they're not civilized. That's the other problem.
And if you ask me, I think Julius Malema will actually become just like the rest eventually in terms of corruption and stuff like that. Yes, he might be opening our eyes to certain things now, but like you said, PR stunt. This is all for votes.
Because I mean, once they start like getting the jinx of it, they start abusing the power, right? Which is, you know, it normally happens because people become so greedy and things just fluctuate, and then it's just like, oh, you know, because it's like this thing of, you know how it is, like when you see opportunities and then you realize from this opportunity you can literally gain as much, and then from this one gain as much, so you become just, it's a recurring thing.
Exactly. I just zoned out there for a second.
Why?
Because politics makes me unhappy.
For real?
No, man, it's just, there's no hope for it in this country, so I guess.
Of course, but I mean, somehow it's like we just have to speak about it. That's the least we could do, you know. Be aware.
Know what your position is.
Let people be informed and why you're making certain decisions. You know, because maybe this country doesn't benefit you anymore. And it's like, by all means, you have to try to block your emotions out of it.
Exactly right.
You know, it's just like, because I mean, it's all happening in Africa as a whole, everywhere in
as
Africa.
A continent.
So, it's, you know, exactly, it's happening. So it's just like, now, you know, things are just.
But this is them losing skilled people, right? Like you said, you want to go. Most of the people I know want to go. What's the future of the continent, of the country?
Because I'm just looking at that as well, like, you know, going forward. So like, it's like now, 10 years from now, where are we going to be? You know, is there still going to be a future? You know, your kids, you know, or your children, basically, you know. What platforms are you building for them? You know? What's your concept? What's your...
Yeah?
No, you were saying?
No, I was just thinking like I would go abroad, but make it a mission to come back. Yeah.
Come back where? Here?
Yeah, wherever in Africa. And just bring back whatever I've done that side. This side.
Do you think there'll be something to come back for though?
They may not. But I guess that's the only way our community is gonna grow. So if I'm able to leave that mark, even if it's small, because I still have majority of my family here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So let them have a bit of a legacy aside. Listen to me talk as if I'm gonna be that person. But yeah.
I mean, it's like, why don't you just take them with, rather, wherever you go?
You have a point.
Especially if you can.
Let's look at a century from now. What's gonna happen to this place?
What do you mean this place?
As in the continent.
It's gonna die. For me personally, I feel like it's gonna deteriorate. It's deteriorating as time goes, and I feel like South Africa, it's only gonna be one country where people are gonna come to. And imagine now if we over flood it here.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just like too many people to handle. What's gonna happen? Because everywhere it's gonna die down slowly. Look at what's happening in Zimbabwe right now. Where they gonna go? They're gonna come here. You know, and then maybe Nigeria, something happens there. They're gonna come here, and then you know, Ghana, there, all of these countries, and then there's gonna just be two countries that are good: Rwanda and.
But I mean, you can't exactly predict the future.
No, of course. I'm just saying, like, if that's the case, because isn't it like South Africa is like the
powerhouse?
Yeah, I mean, it's Nigeria, obviously, like in terms of money, like in terms of how much financial capacity they have, right? And then the South Africa, and then follows other countries as well. But I'm just saying, you know, everybody, it's like they're coming here because there's life here. You know, they see the future here. You know, I'm just saying, in case we, you know, die down, it's like things might go, you know, south. Yeah, or we could bounce back, but that would mean we have to kill things like corruption, especially the way it's happening.
And actually have people to be able to help bounce it back, and that's why I'm saying I want to be one of those people.
Yeah. Understand? Then you can't say you have emotions connected to politics. If you want to be there, then you have to be there.
I do want to eventually be there. That's why I'm studying what I'm studying.
Yeah.
I know I do eventually want to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's always something that I've thought about, even as a young child or whatever. I don't know why that affected me then, but I've always thought about just Africa's development, you know, the well-being of its people and stuff like that. So,
what's your concept of development? That's what I actually wanted to ask earlier. Now that earlier, like before you said something, what's your concept? What's your understanding?
The people first for me, like being comfortable, having access to whatever it is that they need to live fulfilling lives. That's my concept of development.
But do you believe like what's this development is always about positivity?
Why would it be negative?
Because I'm just asking, do you think?
I do.
Oh, okay. No, because reason I'm asking is because not always it's about positivity, because sometimes when it happens, which is odd to happen, because the only way to move forward is to develop or to change, and development is about change, right? But I'm just saying, like, most of the time, one of the reasons why we still find oppression is because when it happens, there are people who are left behind or who are gonna suffer because of it. You know, like when you look at like different structures and stuff, you know, it's like, yes, we're going forward, but you're going forward at someone else's expense.
I guess that will always be a part of it.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, optimum development or proper development is when that person who has been stepped on or is lower than still has enough to look after themselves, to live. They're not, you know, completely stranded with absolutely nothing.
I feel like people should really focus on just sustainability more than development, you know, because
sustainability.
just sustainability as is, because I don't want to sustainable development. I don't want to say that, because if I say that, like I said, development, tends to leave out other people. Well, it goes forward, right? So with sustainability, I feel like whatever you do, it's always think about the others behind you, and the ones at the forefront, because at least what you're doing, you're moving forward, but not at someone's expense. You there's this thing of like, look at like other countries, like for instance, like let's take Germany, right? The reason somehow they don't have this poverty gap, right, that we had in Africa, right, or let me just say South Africa as a country, is because it's always been like, it's either you really like there or you're not there. And how these people are getting there, they look at these ones below, and it's like, I can get there with you at your expense, right? So it's like, we can't have people, right? We can't have people that are earning something close to like 40K a day, whereas there are people literally who earn 3,000 a month. That is not sustainable, because at the end of the day, that's why we have what we have. At least the basic salary has to allow people to at least be able to have shelter. If you're gonna earn 40K a day, at least someone has to earn 10K a month.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think
I feel like you're describing equality, though.
Pardon?
I feel like you're describing equality more than sustainability.
No, I'm just saying, like, going forward, like whatever opportunities that they're gonna be there, right? It's like, let them be very like sustainable, in terms of the line. So basically, when I say the line, like the poverty line, the rich line, like there has to be just at least like some form of, a good straight pattern.
I guess we are both like hitting the same concept. In the sense, like for instance, in a company there will always be high ranking, and there will be a lower level. But like I also said, the lower level shouldn't be at such a bad position that they cannot make anything out of themselves.
And I feel like that's here in South Africa. That's where we are. Honestly, that's where we are.
No, one thing I always think about is like football, soccer. International soccer, especially. Have you seen the margin with salaries?
I mean, with them though, it's like, as much as yes, like let's say Cristiano can have like as much as whatever he has, but like still, like even though those other ones are like getting lower compared to him, they can literally live an exceptional life. Still, it might not be
what about the
great.
janitor who's working for Real Madrid, just cleaning the place?
I think they earn it. I think they earn a lot. I've never really looked into it. Obviously, I wouldn't, say like that for sure. No, but I think they earn a lot, because if they didn't, then I feel like that country would deteriorate. Like I said, and like look at someone who works at McD's, for instance, in America. They probably earn 10K a month. Or probably like 7K or whatever. Look at our cleaners. How much do they earn here? Like what? 2 grand? 1 grand? And it's just like,
I think 1 grand's pushing it.
and I feel like, imagine, like, I mean, trust me, that's some, like depending how many hours you work, right? Because if they're exchanging you guys, then you might earn 1 grand. So it's like, you as a person alone, you can't even feed yourself with 1 grand. It's not enough, Now imagine if having to feed
a lot of people,
like your kids.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
that black tax.
But it's just odd. Yeah, it's just odd. So you believe that the whole international soccer thing, it's very divided?
Very, extremely.
Yeah.
I think things should be looked at a bit differently. There should be more of dividing, like using maths in a way to divide.
So let's say Cristiano earns I'm just saying dollars. He earns $5 billion, right? How much should a cleaner earn?
A good amount.
How much? Let's just put it
$5
in
billion
figures.
in what? A month, a year?
A month. I mean, you know these people monthly. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean in dollars, because obviously they getting their money in pounds or euros or something. I don't think they.
Yeah. You should at least earn 30,000 K.
I mean, which is in what? In dollars?
Yeah. Between.
Yeah.
But okay, let's bring it. Let's bring to the soccer players, right? You can't have like Cristiano earning 5 billion, and someone in the team who's earning 500,000 K.
Dollars.
Yeah. That margin is just way too much.
Basically, what I'm saying, like with that, I'm including his endorsements and everything. I'm not just looking at the.
Okay, but
football.
like
okay,
let's just looked at figures of like just football earnings.
Just football, so it's crazy.
I think it's crazy. Of course, he deserves to have more, but I still feel the margin is just like.
But then now think about it: if you're earning $500,000,
yeah, but that's exploitation, bro.
No,
like I'll be happy, like I got that 5K, but still.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying,
and
like.
That's how so many like institutions or firms right now, even here in SA, are taking advantage of people.
No, but with them it's worse because like they don't allow people to even have an exceptional life. Like I said, with $500,000, let's put it in rands, it's about 7 million. That's a fucking great life right there. Like, yes, you can have your Cristiano there, right? And also, I look at it this way: how many of them do we have? Is there many? No. Just you can probably count them in like, both of your fingers, right? It's like Messi, Cristiano, all these guys, right?
Yeah.
So and then you look at the others, right? It's like standard. It's like standard, and they able to like you look at where they live, like all of that. It's like yes, it's exploitation somehow, but at the same time they earning what they have. So it's like somehow if you can be as motivated as he is and put in the hours that he does, you can be there. Definitely. Like the gates are not closed for you. It's different when now gates are closed for you. You can't even get there.
How easy is it to get there though?
No, it's not easy.
Let's talk about
Same
the
with
last
him.
10 years. Who has been dominating in the soccer realm? It's Cristiano, it's Messi.
Who's been working hard?
It's Neymar.
Who's been working hard though?
But you're telling me the others? Okay. Okay.
No, but like honestly, like I mean, who really is working hard? Like when it comes to just training, that boy goes in. That's his life.
I understand.
That's
don't
his
get
life.
me wrong. He totally deserves.
You understand? Yeah.
I'm just still.
So that's what I was saying to you.
Uncomfortable
if
about
as many as them can work as hard, or twice as hard than he does.
But they're not all gonna be at that status or at that level.
Of course. But I'm just saying, if they put in the work though, there's a high chance that it's a 50% that you might get there, 50 that you might not. But even if you don't get there, you'll be somewhere close. It's like it's just the general rule in life. If you work as hard, then you get there. But it's like that's what I'm saying. It's different when opportunities now, even when you work as hard, opportunities are not given to you.
Yeah.
Right? The gates are closed.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking of. I do understand what you're saying. It makes total sense, but I'm just like,
Because I feel like it's an open industry.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's an open industry. It just depends on how much you're willing to work. It's just like the music industry in America. I mean, look at them. I mean, at one point, Drake, there were a lot of people better than Drake at one point. There were a lot of people who were better than, I just want to look at Cole, Kendrick. They put in the hours. They had people that they came with, like your Wale's.
But that's more of like what you give in is what you get out.
Of course.
Like, they're not dependent on anyone who needs to like kind of pay them. Or kind of decide how much they're gonna get. Do you understand?
I mean,
I do understand
partly
they are a little bit.
Yeah, partly they are. But like,
I
it's
feel
like
like
same.
you can make your own decision.
Don't you think it's the same with the soccer industry? Think about it, man. I feel like it depends on that too. Because like when I look at like the whole sports industry, okay, let's take NBA.
Yeah.
Look at LeBron. LeBron at one point he was not near Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Look at him now. Who's this? That guy, the light skin guy.
I know what you're talking about.
That guy, yeah. I mean, you have your Dwayne Wade's, Steph Curry. I'm talking about him. Look at how much they're working, and opportunities are there. That's what I was saying. Like, their opportunities are really there, and you can see them. And as much, these people are getting better with time because they're working harder as time goes, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's different here, because here they'll shut you down. Like, they'll shut you out. As much as you can work as hard, they'll shut you down because they don't want you to get to the top. That's just oppression as is here. Personally, that's how I feel. That side, I feel like you determine your destiny. That side, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. It is.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So yeah, I mean,
to a certain extent, yeah. Then just like if the people on this side had that mentality,
there'll be progression.
Yeah.
Of course, there'll be progression. Because this side you can have.
Because now this side, this is where they like they want to capitalize.
Of course, they'll tell you straight. You're not gonna go nowhere.
She doesn't have much.
Yeah.
If I give her like the 20K, she will be happy with it. You know, even though
and we're gonna keep her
deserving.
Yeah. And it's like they can keep you at the same position for like 10 years straight.
Exactly, and that's why I think we need to open our eyes and we need to be asking the questions. You can't just,
I feel
settle for.
Yeah, I feel like the dopest mentality we have right now is creating our own. Pushing our own things, pushing our own businesses, whatever it is that you do. Your mentality shouldn't be like your parents' mentality, where you're gonna work for someone for straight 40 years for the rest of your life. Like, that's your mentality, saying that's how I'm gonna maintain, a life, right?
Risk taking, bro.
Yeah,
that's
I feel like,
difference.
and I feel like that's what a lot of these kids, even though maybe they're not as serious about it, but like, I feel like that's what they're doing. They're trying to create their own, push your own. Don't look to work for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the generation we in now. It's just that they're not as serious. And they're not willing.
Solely focused.
They're not willing to put in.
Probably.
Yeah, they're not willing to put in those hours yet.
Exactly. So you're not gonna read out of it. You see a success story of one person, you think you're just gonna.
You're gonna jump there, like literally there. Nah, babe. It takes work.
It takes a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of these
big things all started small. Like especially the concrete ones, the ones that you see the proper. Reaping out of.
That's where people, like, whenever they see you starting these days, they laugh at you like, you're not gonna go nowhere. Oh, why do you even bother? Because they don't see the results yet. And it's just like, you have to just block out those people, because you know where you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's the future. Creating our own, pushing our own. Trying to create opportunities for ourselves. That's the only way.
And doing it here on this continent?
Of course. I don't mind. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind, like, at the end of the day, if opportunities arise. Of course. But if I feel like I'm oppressed to a point where I can't even do shit.
Anything, of course.
I
don't know why you're going to fight the situation.
I'm bad, because now, what am I telling myself?
Yeah.
That I can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense.
That's it, huh? Are we done?
I guess we're done.
Yeah.
It's time.
Alright. No, but it was a good one, though.
Good one.